Welcome back to the final segment here on the Bako Motorsports Power Hour. It's our final show of the 2014 season.
The final segment.
The final segment.
And the final segment for me.
That's right. And Stephen Blakesley is leaving us at the end of the season.
Yes, I am.
And going back home to Sacramento. He's done some great work for us. Instrumental, I think, in getting this show off the ground and getting it
Thank you, Lewis.
Getting it launched. We couldn't have done it without you. And, congratulations to you and all you've accomplished. I think that you will be sorely missed, and people should understand that. I know I will miss you, and
I appreciate that. I'll miss all you guys, but I mean, we've been able to make a big impact, and I think the biggest thing is like that $8,100 for Make-A-Wish is we were able to use our track to do some good, which I know the Condors do a lot of that, and CSUB does a lot of that, and we want our racetrack to be more like that. And we helped a lot of people this year.
Absolutely,
so that's kind of the biggest thing that'll stick with me.
I think that's one of the things that we talked about. Griff and I talked about going into the show today. That's one of the true highlights. And if you and actually, when I had to jar Mike's memory through some kind of electric shock therapy, that came out. Oh yeah, that event or that event. That was because there was charity involved, and that's what Mike is actually all about. All right, Let's do our top 10 honorable mention moments from the 2014 season. And Mike, this number 10, this is yours. This is yours, right?
Yeah, I got a tweet from.
Oh, these aren't his at all.
I got a tweet from Brian Richardson on Monday morning because obviously the story didn't run in the paper and he had to look up a word, and I thought that was pretty cool.
Brian Richardson brought in 6 lugs of peaches on the guest.
Mike took 5 of them.
And Mike took 5 of them.
2 of them.
Those are pretty solid, though.
That's you bring in 6 lugs of peaches to this show, you're getting an honorable mention for sure.
Right. The fall shootout heroics. I mean, getting the track dry and the Bakersfield dominance. I mean, that was something that was impressive.
Yeah. Most people would have thrown in the towel, said, let's come back on a Sunday. And for a while, it looked like it. But I give the Southwest Tour drivers a lot of credit. They got out there and they got that track dry, and we got some racing in.
We mentioned, Stephen, that you were really proud of the charitable work that's been done at KCRP this season. And I tell you what, it has been inspiring. And the Make-A-Wish event that you had. And the Bakersfield Speedway also doing a lot of good charity work as well. And it just speaks to a lot to the drivers and to the racing community in Kern County that this is an important issue for them. And I know that it existed at Famoso, but it's with the weekend and week out racing you guys do, it's really front and center at those 2 facilities.
Yep.
Number 6, this was mine, and I kind of like this one. I don't know, Griffith, you were kind of poo-pooing it earlier, but that's how you operate. Anra's Rise, I thought, was really interesting with Butch Hedrick and what he's done out there. Really high card counts. Consistently around 300 cars, a weekend. And they produced some, Jason Barta came out of ANRA and won at the California Hot Rod Reunion. So I think that was a pretty good series for most of the
show. He's cut on there. They used to run this at Palmdale, which was not a very good drag strip in its waning years. I raced there once early on, and it was not very good even then.
Right.
So he took this series and just brought it over here to Bakersfield and slowly built it. And now he's got a niche. They run 4 times a year. The guys can run other races if they want to, but the 4 times a year works for him. He gets his 250 to 300 cars. Everybody has a good time. And in the spring, they have a big barbecue at their first race and a lot of fun. So it works.
Right. Let's take a look at the top 5 now. And Bakersfield at Boone was a huge thing. Because they really did well in the sport mod category.
Oh, yeah, the sport mod drivers went over there and were among the best of the best. You got 2 in the 30-car feature from Bakersfield. You had guys winning heat races. So I think the sport mod drivers showed that there's pretty good racing out here in Bakersfield.
All right. Number 4, Kevin Harvick. And Stephen Blakesley had a hand in this one, tweeting out or retweeting the show. And when we first got launched on April 1st, that was kind of cool to see that, recognizing us. And that was partly because of your work there.
Yep, and then that's cool with the MX track being number 3. And
I mean, I think that's one. It almost is in my top 5 because that's an area I think we've underserved on the show this year because
it didn't exist,
and we talked about one kid I think that was doing stuff and they were going to Devore. Obviously there's a big facility there. It's a world class facility, and there's a world class facility in Lake Elsinore, but there's nothing really. Close by.
You had to go to Devore, you had to go to Tulare, you had to go out of town, whatever, to practice. And now at least you you can come get some laps in close by.
Right now, and then number 2 was my favorite. I like to tease Griffith on this one. The new control tower, which I was allowed to participate in, and you weren't.
That's fine. I shot the first video from up there.
That's right. You did
from
get up there.
Saturday
Right.
Night Nitro.
Right. It was really nice, and thanks to Blake for letting us be up there. And then number 1, we could not have done this show without the help of Tom Mock, who would go to all 3 tracks at times and shoot photos and provide all the photos that we had. And Ricky Bassman, too, who did a great
absolutely.
job. But Tom was there on all 3 tracks and was out there at Famoso when it was extremely hot. But Tom Mock did a great job for us, along with our own photo staff, too, when we were there. And I know Griffith and I shot our stuff when I was able to get out the stuff. But thanks for Tom for that. All right, Griff. Let's go to the next slide. This is the top 5 moments, and Chris, you got it. There should be 4.
We'll do it.
Top moments. We'll figure it out.
Well, you know what the moments are.
Now I have to remember them. All right, here we go. Top moments. Ready? Griffith, this is your top 5 moments.
So,
all right?
remind me, I already forgot.
King Louis is absent.
Yeah, because thrust me into a position I don't like. And then we
Right.
had fun. If we had a picture from that first show when I dressed up the monkey and put the
Right.
the crown on him,
Yep.
that was a highlight. Everybody in the building
Love
loved
that one. Love that one.
So that was a highlight.
Number 4, driver participation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the driver participation in this show over the course of the season has been fantastic and is just added a lot of depth to it.
Number 3, promised in this show and delivered at the Bud Nationals, Lee Jensen playing the national anthem.
Yeah, I've got to give Lee a lot of credit. You win a guitar, you've never plucked a guitar in your life, and you say, well, I'm going to play the national anthem the next year. And he held to it, and he's up there nervous as could be, but he did it. So I'm pretty proud of him for that.
The one you actually ended hosting the last half hour of, the California Hot Rod Reunion show, was one of your favorite ones.
I think that was just a strong show from the start of it. That was a 90-minute show, and it was strong all the way through from leading up to it and finishing. And then anytime you can get Dale Worsham to call in, he got some good karma, won a funny car race now, so all's good. And
There
we
you
found
go.
out that he still drives a semi. It's great
That's
stuff.
even better. And then the overall, your favorite thing from this year, and this actually predates the show, but kind of looking at racing in general, was of course the March meet, which you're biased on. We know that.
Well, no, I think that just that can be such a good event, and it's pretty much weather driven. If the weather's good, if you're going to get that 65 to 70 degree, mostly sunny days, it's going to be a barn burner event. That's what they had. It was 4 days of great racing.
The last 2 days were spectacular.
Yeah, and Tony
oil downs. Or
Tony
anything.
Bartone set the tone for the whole season at that race.
Yep.
Yep. All right, my 5. Here they go.
All right, here we go.
My 5. Drivers. I think when we launched this show, we thought that this show was going to be a general interest show, that people were going to, they were going to flock to it by the thousands and watch it. This is different. What we saw here was that we had a lot of drivers participating. We had a lot of drivers participating on our Facebook page. The constituency of this show ended up being a lot of what the drivers were talking about. And I'm really proud of the number of drivers that you brought in. I'm proud of the drivers that Blake and Bakersfield Speedway brought in that participated through the year. And, we had about 30 drivers come in, and all of them were great. They were all interesting to talk to. They all have, interesting backgrounds. We saw a lot of potential out of this, and I just loved having those conversations with the drivers all season long. Number 4. Because I've got to know this young man and I can tease him, Racing Flipper Vernon's flip. Incredible to see the video. And that had to be, a moment that I kind of had to watch it 4 or 5 times to see it. And
it went just about viral
Right.
on our YouTube. And
and the other part of it to me is, I'm a dad and a grandpa too. And, it scares me to think that, what he was going through and that he's still young and he was able to pull himself out of it. And
with his
everything.
size, I think they say now he's up to size 16 shoes. So
Jeez.
They had to pull his clown feet out of that car.
Yeah, exactly. And then on that note too, Racing I think is a junior at North, either a sophomore or a junior. I can't remember exactly what he is there, but he's at North High School. And we have all these kind of young guns that are emerging. We have Blaine Perkins. We got Ethan
Ethan
Dotson.
Dotson,
We've
Buddy
got Buddy
Shepard,
Shepard.
and all of them.
We
Goes on
got
and
Brandon
on.
Weaver. You have the little kids, but you got these young men
That could really do it.
That could really do it. And Racing Vernon's part of that group. And I think that you've done a good job, Stephen. And I think of kind of basically, exploring this and letting these guys, telling the story of these young men and what they're doing in the sport. And, there are always going to be young stars in the thing, but it seems like we have a good group of them, right, Mike?
Yeah, a good group of that young teenagers, those 13 to 15, 16-year-olds. And then you have a good group of that 8-year-olds on up. So if the 8, 9, 10-year-olds keep on racing, is going to keep
Our odds
building
are
the
good.
sport.
Yeah,
That's what I keep
right.
saying. Our odds
And-
are good for our
And
harvest.
Bakersfield, the odds are already good for Bakersfield. There's not very many cities that can say, you have 2 Cup drivers, that are on the
we
network.
might get a third someday.
Yeah, so Ryan
And
Reed's
we
there.
don't talk about it much, but the same thing's happening at the drag strip and the junior dragsters.
Right.
That's where they get to cut their teeth anymore, is at 8, 9, 10, 12.
Right.
Learn to drive and then hopefully go on into drag racing.
Right.
Right.
Number 2 for me was Tina McGowan winning the Bud Nationals. We had Tina in here, another driver that we had in the show, and then to win that event was really pretty inspiring and a great job by her. And then number 1, because we got the chance to meet him a couple of times, Mike, and to know him and to know how hard it is to dominate a season like that. But Tony Bartone, incredible. His domination of the Top Fuel Nostalgia class. That's amazing to me. To win every single race.
He's a New Yorker and he's kind of gruff and intense, but he doesn't. You think of this nostalgia racing is just for fun. He says, he does other things for fun. He races to win, and there's no doubt about it. He takes that very seriously.
Right. So those are our top 5 moments. We'll probably get those back into the paper for tomorrow. So look for that in the Bakersfield Californian, Griff and I, and we'll sure share some of this stuff online as well. And again, so much thanks to Stephen Blakesley. Thank you to Auto Club Famosa Raceway, Blake Bowser, Scott Schweitzer at Bakersfield Speedway. We thank him for that as well. Our plan is that we will bring this show back with new sponsors and new focus and new mission for hopefully 40 shows next year. With everybody talking about motorsports here, because we know it's a passionate audience and we have a passionate community in this sport here. So we'll get to that here as well.
Breaking news: the K&N East and West, they've unveiled a new body for next season.
There you go.
Really?
Yeah,
that's
I know.
really-
A shocker.
I didn't know.
It just happened.
I didn't know.
News.
All right, there you go.
We're
Griff will blog it later. This show's brought to you by Budweiser. Thank them for everything. Thank you to the Sign Factory. Thank you to the Bakersfield Californian. This is produced by Louis Amestoy and Mike Griffith, directed by Chris McCullough. And you have watched this live at the Dignity Health Studios at the Bakersfield Californian. This has been a production of the Bakersfield Californian and PPC Media.